Welcome back to BA Select Start, Space Girl here, and welcome to the very first episode of what I like to call a Q and Play. A Q and Play is basically where I just interview other YouTubers while playing video games. Sometimes there'll be people that I haven't met before, or in this case, there'll be someone that I kind of already know, but now you kind of get the chance to know them too. So joining me today is my guest, Serpentmongrel. Say hello.
What's up?
um, Alright, so, we can start the game now. We are going to be, I'm going to be
Oh
interviewing him while we play some Killing Floor 2. What's up?
there, there we go. I forgot to put my pistol start.
Oh. Alright, so let's start off with probably the most important question of this. How are you today?
I am doing just fine, especially for Thanksgiving Day. I was actually just working earlier, and it wasn't as bad as I anticipated, especially since the store I work at specifically is next to a Publix, and Publix was just dead silent, like seriously dead silent, which was really weird out of all the other days when it's super busy all the time.
Awesome. Yeah, Thanksgiving's going pretty good. Let's see. What have you eaten so far?
Interesting question. I don't really know of what, like, what's it called? I'm not really sure from what nationality this food is particularly from, but the way that my mom makes it is, it's just like boiled rice or steamed rice, and it's made with pinto beans, shredded chicken, cilantro, and I think a little bit of red peppers.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. She makes it a lot. She doesn't cook often, but that's pretty much what she makes the majority of the time. That and she usually makes chicken rice soup as well, which is
Chicken rice.
pretty good.
That actually does sound pretty awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not sure if it is a Nicaraguan thing, honestly. But I mean, my mom is from Nicaragua, so I imagine she can make a whole bunch of food that I'm
Yeah.
not really sure what is Nicaraguan or not. Like naca tamales, I know that for sure. Those are definitely Spanish.
Yeah. How, just out of curiosity, have you ever been to Nicaragua?
I No, I've never been there. There was a discussion a long time ago of whether or not I should go, and it was more so just to kind of get some experience from just being around my grandfather, because I've never seen my grandfather before, and he lives there in fact. But it was never able to become a thing because we're like super broke, and
Yeah.
travel is super expensive. On top of that, especially going to a different country, it seems a bit like a difficult thing to pull off, if anything. Especially considering that I'm a person that really needs to know my whereabouts before I even think about going to any other place.
There's a crawler out here, or a couple if you want them.
Oh no,
I
that's
see,
that's
yeah,
all.
that makes sense.
So travel is a little difficult to pull off, but would I like to go there? Yes. Am I comfortable going there? That's questionable, pretty much.
Honestly, that makes
What
perfect sense. And that oddly enough, that really describes my situation with the whole college thing, which is, oh, whoa, I'm gonna die. Yeah, I'm quite a corner, I'm gonna die. Or, no, maybe not. But that kind of
You can do it.
describes the situation with, college and all that, because I don't know if I told you, but one of my main colleges was in Florida. And I was really excited for that, and it was like, oh wow, a new state. Well, probably not. Oh yeah, I'm dying because the husk hit me. Yeah.
Oh,
But No worries. But I don't know. I kind of have the same problem. I don't know if I'd be comfortable in another state, especially one where I don't know anyone. So it's like, yeah, maybe I'd better just stick to California.
Yeah, I mean, I totally know where you're coming from. Because I happen to live in Florida, but the thing is that the campus in particular is in Orlando, and Orlando is a big city area compared to, you know, a lot of other places that are in Florida. And big city areas tend to be, they can be a bit of a problem, especially considering the fact that if you're going in by yourself and you're not really used to a place you've been to before, or if you've never been to a place before, then it can be kind of it can be a little bit scary.
Yeah, that makes, yeah, definitely.
Here's a gun for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Alright.
welcome.
5 random facts about you. Go.
5 random facts about me. Uh,
Just something you'd want a stranger to know.
all right, let's see. I work in a Starbucks. Is one. I'm currently a barista, just working there over a year now. And I first started on October, I think 17th. Yeah, I think it was October 17th. And let's see. Another random fact. Before Starbucks, I used to work in a library for, I think, 2 years as a student worker, and no, 2 years as a volunteer, and then 3 years as a student worker. So I was there for like 5 years total, and pretty much the end of my job was when I was graduating as well. Sorry. And yeah, that was the same exact summer. And that very summer, I was unemployed for a little bit up until fall, when I got hired for Starbucks. And speaking of graduation, third fact about me, I am actually a graduate with an associate's degree so far from Seminole State College.
Awesome.
And I have an associate's degree in fine arts.
Fine arts. So you're clearly, I want to say, an artist. Is there I know I've probably asked you this before, but is there a certain like theme you do in your drawings? Because I know, like, I've got a friend who's a close friend who's an artist, and one of her big themes really is like just capturing, like, she has this weird thing with darkness. I don't, if I'm using a term I shouldn't be using and offending an artist, I'm really sorry. I know nothing about art.
Fine.
But yeah, that's like her big like theme, I suppose. So I was wondering if you had one of those.
Yeah, kind of. Back when I was, before I even started college, actually, I had actually taken a lot of inspiration from a number of video games and movies. And usually the theme would take inspiration from things like Hellraiser or Quake, or what else? Even Doom, or like Event Horizon. That was a movie I liked a lot, and I tried to incorporate that in a lot of the work that I made. In retrospect, a lot of the artwork when I was in high school, admittedly, was a little edgy. I'm not gonna lie. They were a little edgy, but at the same time, over the course of time, one thing I think I am kind of proud of is the fact that even though that I have been working on a theme that is almost directly the opposite of that, some of the ideas from the darker themes from way back then, I think I'm kind of proud of the fact that I've maintained those and let them ferment into something better. Because I think I've made a couple of things that are interesting without making it look like I was trying too hard.
Yeah. I see. So you didn't really like. That's pretty cool though, because you didn't really like completely change your style. You kind of just let it go its own way.
Yeah, pretty much. It, admittedly, there was a moment of discouragement when I had actually used to post my stuff on DeviantArt,
Mhm.
and then I knew right away that there was that my stuff was a little too edgy when it actually got kind of, I guess, involuntarily featured in a in like a cringe gallery.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, which was like incredibly discouraging, but at the same time, I did have like a moment of realization of like, so maybe this is not exactly how I figured it to be. And I think in a way that kind of helped me because I still stuck with a lot of ideas and let them become something else without changing too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty awesome. And do you ever like compare, like look at where you first started versus now?
Oh
I
yeah.
know that's something my friend, she does a lot. She likes to do that like all the time. And she'll sometimes
Yeah,
look at a drawing she did a couple years ago and like redraw it just to see the difference.
Yeah, like one thing that I think a lot of new artists do, or young artists, that they make this particular mistake, and that is throwing away all of the work that they've made. And I will admit that I've actually thrown away a good portion of it, but the ones that I did end up keeping, those are the ones that I kind of, I've let them ferment over time, like, and not by like weeks or months, but like years and years and years, because it's been like, what is it? I was in college for 3 years, and it's been a year since, or over a year since I've graduated. So, considering the ideas that I've kind of started working on, probably would take about 4 or 5 years that I've been just letting them ferment and just, you know, working on them continuously.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm personally not an artist myself. I do not have an eye for art. I mean, I can recognize when it's beautiful, but the drawing portion, like, I gotta like redraw a stick figure like 4 different times to get it right. So it's probably not my thing. But do you
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the other thing. Like, you know, it takes time because, like, even in high school, in total at that time, it would have taken me years and years and years to work on it because almost every year that I was in a class, all the way from elementary school to middle school to high school, I always wanted to have an art class.
Yeah. Yeah, because I thought about it.
Yeah, that it would have taken like 7 years. Well, now coming in at like 10 or something, but yeah, I think you get, you get the gist. Everything
Yeah.
takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in my high school, there's this thing called 7 periods, where they're classes you get credits and you get graded for them, but they're not too important. They're kind of just an extra class, and it's usually something extracurricular. And one of them is an art class. So I was looking. Well, I needed my teacher let me know that to graduate, I still needed to do a year of an art. And there's different like arts classes. Like there's just art, there's ceramics, there's wood shop. And so I was looking
Oh, yeah.
over, yeah. And I mean, like I've always wanted to do ceramics since I was a freshman. I just never had the chance to. But I kind of debated. I kind of looked over art, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I remember when I was younger, I really wanted to learn how to draw. And I don't know, I guess I kind of just let myself get discouraged and basically chose ceramics over just art because of the fact that I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna be good at all. And like, I mean, I don't necessarily regret it because I preferred ceramics anyway. I just had wanted to kind of give art a try, but I don't know. I get what you mean about like discouraging yourself and things like that. That's probably something I have to work on because I have a lack of confidence in most things, really. Probably about 99% of things, but I, I get where you're coming from with like discouraging yourself, because I've been told several times that's something I need to work on.
Yeah, that's, I totally know where you're coming from, because I was actually the same way, even during all that time that I tried to spend into making artwork. The difference was to just keep doing it. I didn't, that's also part of the reason that I think a lot of people haven't seen my art, and it's particularly because even though I kept doing it, I've hidden all that stuff away from them. And over the course of time, like, you know, as people get to know me a little more and more, I open up and show them some of the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like slowly working my way back up to not necessarily go into places like DeviantArt, because I'm not really too fond of DeviantArt anymore. Not because of, you know, what happened with that whole cringe gallery thing. It's just more of like, it's just more of I guess like the fact that when you go into DeviantArt, technically you don't own the artwork anymore. Like DeviantArt pretty much owns that artwork. I don't know if that's true or not, but it is just kind of like I'm pretty sure that if I make it, it is mine, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You have a right to feel that way.
Yeah. Besides that, I do have a Tumblr now. I'm slowly working my way into building the confidence to show stuff on there. Yeah, in the meantime, I'm just kind of drawing for drawing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, as far as like discouragement goes, that is a pretty common thing. The difference is you just have to keep doing it.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got so many flashbacks. I have been getting told for years that perseverance is like the main thing I need, just in general. Like, I'm just thinking about every math teacher I've ever had.
Yeah, it is a thing. And yeah, it took me 10 years to get where I am. So, you know, keeping that in mind, you know, the stuff that you really want to get good at, you know, just spend time doing it. You know, have the passion for it.
Yeah, because I've seen your artwork actually, and I think it's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really, I'm into it. I think it's pretty awesome.
Oh, my bad.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when I first started out, I actually took a lot of inspiration from anime back when Naruto was a big thing. Because I had a friend that really got me into it, because he used to draw as well. However, over the course of our friendship, he kind of stopped drawing, and yeah, I don't know what it was. He just wasn't the same person like I used to know back in
I get it.
Not elementary school, middle school. So even then, you know, past the point that he wasn't the same person that I remembered, I still drew because that was the passion that he pretty much gave me.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a favorite artist by any chance?
Let's see. I mean, here's the thing, because the thing about art is that there are so many people that make different stuff. It's almost kind of impossible to choose a favorite. Me personally, even though I'm kind of like, I guess you could say, or you can consider me academically trained, since I actually went to school for art. But if anything, I really, really like the cartoony style. Even that also includes some of the stuff that actually got featured in museums.
Mhm.
Because some people have made sort of like cartoony looking stuff, which I thought was really interesting because it kind of like it kind of broke away from the trope of like artwork has to look super realistic like they did during like what the fucking Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
But you also have to take into consideration back then that was a totally different time.
Mhm. Yeah, that is true. So I see you've mentioned the cartoon style a lot lately. Well, a lot recently in the conversation. So I'm assuming you're big on cartoons. You're a big cartoon guy.
Yep, I love cartoons. Watched them ever since I was little, and still going strong 23 years later.
Yeah, cartoons, they can't die out. It's impossible. Even with like all the channels making these kind of horrible ones, there's still some good ones out there.
Yeah, like what's it called? Regular Show? Well, I regular show ended, but
yeah,
regular
that
show
was me and my
was really
sister's
good.
favorite cartoon. Yeah. We love Regular Show.
If I had to choose an absolute favorite of all time, it would definitely have to be Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, I used to love that. I used to watch that with my mom. Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog was great.
Yeah. Interesting thing too. I'm not sure about a lot of the other cartoons that were featured on CNN or Nickelodeon or whatever, but I think, especially Invader Zim, I like Invader Zim quite a bit, and I think
Crazy enough, I never got around to watching it.
Oh, it's really good, and it's really dark, like a really messed up kind of dark. Not on the same level as Courage is, because Courage is kind of like goofy yet disturbing. Invader Zim just kind of goes full on disturbing, which is pretty amazing.
Awesome, especially if you're doing a cartoon. It's different. I like that.
Oh yeah. And I think part of the appeal for those shows being my favorite was because of the fact that there wasn't so many of those shows like that, as opposed to, stuff like Ed, Edd n Eddy, even though I love Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Oh yeah, so did I.
But I guess, like, because I watched a lot of horror movies as a kid as well, there was just that appeal of, oh, it's a horror comedy cartoon. I love it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I think, let's see, crazy enough, unpopular opinion, and if I do offend anyone watching, I'm so sorry, but I was never really a big fan of Adventure Time. Very unpopular opinion.
Yeah, that's understandable. I do think that the humor in that show kind of just stems from the fact that the kids nowadays have like a short attention span, or at least like this is my theory on it. Like I think the humor is laid out in such a way that it can still kind of grasp the attention span that kids have.
Yeah, because, okay, that was surprising. I was expecting a, what, are you serious? But, yeah, I watched the first, I've seen episodes here and there, but I don't know, it's not something I just ever thought, like, I want to sit down, I want to really watch this.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to take into consideration, it's a really nice show, and I've heard that even despite the humor that is laid out, it does have like, what's it called? It has a good moral compass for people to learn from, so I don't really have a problem with it. And I don't have a problem with the humor either. It's just taking things into perspective. I can understand why some people like it and why some people don't. I kind of like it, but I'm not like crazy about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, but I think what's the most recent cartoon you watched?
Teen Titans Go.
Oh man.
Not even kidding.
I mean,
And
if you do
it
like that
was...
show, I'm sorry for my comment.
No, no, no. Here's the thing. The only reason I said the most recent, I answered that question is because legit, I was just eating pizza the other day, and they have a TV set, and literally what they had for the whole entire hour of me eating pizza was Teen Titans Go.
Oh, that was torture.
And legit, sometimes I have... Oh wow, I'm gonna die, aren't I?
Oh, alright, no worries.
And legit, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, while I was watching the show, they really made this? Like, they really made Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, like they actually felt the need to like redo a classic cartoon that way. It's like borderline offensive.
Yeah. And again, the way that it's laid out, like everything, they just changed everything into such a fashion that, you know, again, it would appeal to the kids, which from a marketing standpoint, sure, you can do that, but from the standpoint of the fan base, that's kind of unacceptable, because that's not who the Teen Titans are. They never have and never will be. They are superheroes, and I don't understand why they had to change it into what it is now.
Yeah. So horribly done.
Oh, you got this.
Do I? Oh, okay. Made it
Oh,
out.
you got this.
Let's see, can I pick that up? Oh, I picked up one. Picked something. Oh no, I didn't.
Oh no, you picked up the better one. You're fine.
Alright. Yeah, let's see. I think the most recent cartoon, well, I mean, I guess this definitely counts as a cartoon, I suppose. It's like an adult cartoon. I finished watching Rick and Morty. Well, I got something in a second. But yeah, it's, I don't know if you've seen it, but I probably would recommend it because it's really good. Like, it's definitely a really dark cartoon, especially with the main character being like a borderline sociopath. And he's, you
An
know,
alcoholic.
yeah, and depressed, and oh, let's see, I can go on and on, but I would recommend it. It's definitely got some lessons in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, like definitely things like don't take life for granted because someone's always got it worse. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Rick and Morty. I think the next cartoon I want to get into. You know what? I need to finish Steven Universe. I'm still barely on season 1. I think there's only 2 seasons out, but still.
Yeah, I've been told that I should watch Steven Universe and Rick and Morty. I have never had any time to watch Steven Universe just yet, but I did happen to watch the first episode of Rick and Morty, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Rick and Morty. What did you
I was
think?
told that I was told that it is different throughout the seasons, because based on the first impression of the episode, I will be honest, I was kind of confused. Not so much like I didn't get the joke, but I'm confused as to like how the humor changes throughout the course of the seasons.
We're almost out of time. Make your choices.
Well, it definitely, one thing I like, one thing that's really big for me throughout, not just, here you go. Did you grab that?
Glad you made it back.
Not even just through cartoons, but like through books, movies. One thing I'm really into is character development. So you see a lot of that throughout the seasons for sure, especially with Rick. And
Bring up
then
the trading controls and upgrade
the
your gear.
seasons, I don't want to say they sort of get They get a little darker, yeah. And the humor,
Okay.
is just, I don't know, who knows. I really can't say anything about the humor because I'm 17, so it's like, who knows, maybe by the time I'm like 30, I won't even find it funny anymore.
Oh, he's coming after you. We might want to get out of here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah. But, let's see. Yeah, Steven Universe. And I was supposed to start, that's the name of it. I forgot it for a second. I blanked. Gravity Falls. Did you ever get into that one?
I haven't been able to watch it yet,
yeah.
but I heard it's actually really good.
I've been told it's really good. Because I've got a couple friends who love it. Like, they're obsessed with it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I seen like an episode on TV just flipping through the channels, but yeah, it wasn't so bad. I thought it was pretty good, the episodes I saw.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, alright, so earlier you mentioned you used to work in a library, so are you a big reader, or no, is that not your thing?
You know what the funny thing is? This was a little bit of a controversy when I was working in the library, but I actually don't really read all that much. I'm not really too big into books.
That, yeah, I can see why that'd be a controversy. I mean, I get it though. You work where you want to work.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a funny thing too, because like, people have actually openly asked me about that, and I was straight up honest, and I said, nope, I don't really read. And they're just like, what? And I love the surprises on their face every time that I answer that.
What? Yeah, because I'd be like, I don't know, like if I worked at a Starbucks or something, and then told people I didn't really like coffee. Do you like coffee?
I like it, actually.
Okay.
Before, I didn't
so
used to
funny if
like
you
it.
didn't.
I didn't used to like it before, but after working there, you know, besides the reason of taste, there is actually a pretty big reason that you should get into coffee, because there are a number of health benefits of drinking coffee.
Damn, I just got caught by everything. I might. Or no, I'm alright.
Don't die.
Yeah. Oh really? Can you share some of them with me? Cause I drink a lot of coffee anyway, but I had no idea it was benefiting me.
Well, it does help with your digestive system. Meaning, as in, you know, instead of letting the shit just kind of stay in there for a longer period of time, coffee can make you go poop a little faster.
Oh no. Oh, yeah, true. I just got stuck. Worth it. I knew exactly where you're going with that. That's why I laughed.
What else? There is it also is just kind of like made with water, so, you know, there is kind of the hydration benefit to that as well. And on top of that, because of the caffeine, you know, it does tend to put you in a better mood and give you the energy that you kind of needed for, you know, for a period of time. And well, they don't really specifically tell you, like, you know, the health benefits.
Yeah.
You know, from the get-go, but pretty much, you know, just from drinking it alone, you could probably notice you know, the changes between before drinking coffee and after drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Magnifique. You were this round MVP, as they say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, before I didn't used to like it. Not that I hated it, it was just, I didn't really care for it, but after working in the store for over a year, it has certainly grown on me, which is something I can very much appreciate.
More Zeds on the way.
You need Dosh that extra. And yeah, because usually I know exactly what you mean, because in the mornings, especially Mondays, can be pretty tough, especially me waking up super early in the morning to catch the bus to school. So, well, I go to school right down the street from Food Max. I don't know, do you guys have a Food Max? I mean, it's a grocery store, but I'm just wondering if you got a Food Max specifically.
Funny thing, we don't. But we do have a thing called an Office Max on this side of the the U.S.
Is that like I haven't been there in a while. Is that like an office supply thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much like you have a Staples in California?
Staples, yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's pretty much a Staples. It's pretty much all it is.
Yeah, I think we've got one in Office Max as well. So I could have sworn I've seen one before, but I could be wrong, I don't know. But yeah, there's... Yeah, I'll try to get the attention of that. Yeah, I usually in the mornings, especially on Mondays, I go to school right down the street from Food Max, so I'll usually stop there and grab you know, have you ever seen, I don't know if you guys have them in Florida, but they're Starbucks, but they're in these like glass bottles, and they're like $3. They're like
You mean the cold
fraps in the bottle, yeah.
Oh, the Frappuccinos, yeah. Yeah, we got those.
Oh yeah, those
God.
Those are really good, yeah. Especially in the mornings and it's like super cold. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they even put in those bottles versus the actual Frappuccino, because the interesting thing about that is the Frappuccinos that we make in cafe have a syrup base and then the syrup flavor, and we use the base to help keep the consistency in the drink. Because meanwhile in the bottled drink, it's not really like thick, because it's still got like the milky thickness, but not like the Frappuccino thickness from the syrup. So I'm kind of like wondering if they put something else in it to make it sweet. Plus on top of that, it's pre-packed, or not, well, I guess you can consider it pre-packaged. But pretty much it's like put in a bottle and it has a shelf life, so I'm wondering what they even did to that drink versus the handcrafted drink.
Oh no, I'm stuck. Yeah, but I get it. Funny thing, believe it or not, I've never really thought about that or wondered that really, like, how does the Frappuccino in the bottle differ from in the cafe? Oh shit, I am majorly fucked. Yep, 2 straight sets.
Are you okay?
Nope. Oh, definitely not. Did you see that?
Run like hell. Yeah. I didn't see anything besides the health bar dropping to like 10%.
I think I should be alright now. But yeah, that's funny. Here, I'm like inside the mind of a Starbucks barista right now. Because I've never really thought about that. Like, how does the bottled frap differ from a frap made in the actual cafe?
Yeah, that's something I want to know, because I don't know if it's just about the same or if it's like any worse than the Frappuccino, you know, the cafe Frappuccino, because the Frappuccino alone, that shit's got a lot of sugar.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's
it has a lot.
Absolutely.
Fuck that husk in particular. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I just I came back for that asshole. Oh. Yeah, now I kind of want one. I think my mom has a case in the living room. Awesome.
You know what that also kind of reminds me of?
What?
The Yoo-Hoos.
Oh my, dude, you don't understand. Like the child in me, just like. Okay, that's weird. I don't want to say that phrase, but like the child in me just screamed right now.
That's great.
Like the sensation that I feel inside of you mentioning that is insane and indescribable, because those were literally like my favorite drinks as a child.
I've never had them as a kid, actually. It wasn't
Really?
until just now that I've just started having them.
Here's the ammo
And
box
yeah,
up
they're
here,
pretty
by the way,
good.
if you need it. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
I'm
was
actually
just...
also...
Yeah, the feeling I got when you just mentioned that was amazing. Like, yeah, those, I'm so happy that like Florida has those, so you were at least able to experience it as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because those drinks always intrigued me as a kid, because it's like, it's not chocolate milk, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's,
like,
it's a chocolate drink, so I'm wondering there is some milk in there, but they don't make it the same way like they usually would with chocolate milk. Did you know that they actually put fructose corn syrup in chocolate milk?
You know what? I am not a person. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not a person to have like a conversation about like fructose corn syrup and calories or any of that with. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even probably not healthy. I mean, I pretty much like, yeah, I'm not healthy. Like yesterday I had Doritos and like a Reese's peanut butter cup. So admittedly, I know nothing about any of that, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume fructose corn syrup is harmful.
It kind of is. It's... You know how I mentioned... you know how I mentioned a syrup base for Frappuccinos? Literally, fructose corn syrup is just the same thing. Or maybe even almost the same thing.
I see.
Because it's just syrup and sugar. Or, yeah, it's just like sugar syrup. It's pretty much what it is. It's to like sweeten things up, and it's like in literally almost everything. It's in your juice, it's in your soda, it's in your fruit snacks, it's in your what else is it in? It's in your freaking candy. It's in almost everything that's sweet.
Awesome. Yeah. You know what? Thank you. That just kind of reminded me actually that I need to start being more aware of things like that. Definitely. Because I knew it was harmful. So I was kind of just like, whatever. I didn't know much about it.
Yeah, that's kind of a... Oh shit.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm at 60. Yeah, because funny thing, I didn't know about that either until high school, and the main reason I even know anything about that to begin with is because of my... It used to be called agriculture class, but later they turned it, they changed the name into biotechnology, which was really weird, because it was just the same thing. I mean, we had a couple of like cool lab projects, but nothing like super sophisticated. So it was kind of funny that they changed the name to something that sounds super fancy schmancy, but without it actually being fancy.
Nice. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Because yeah, and another thing, I don't even know what, I hear it all the time, but I still don't know for the life of me what gluten is.
Actually, I don't even think that I've had gluten explained to me before either. I know that it's in like bread, or like wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is specifically. I do know that because my store is particularly serves like gluten-free sandwiches, or well, we just have one gluten-free sandwich,
Mhm.
and then we have like what's it called? There's also these like coconut cookies, where it's
Mhm.
like cookies that have coconut flakes in them, and pretty much those are also supposed to be gluten-free. So as far as I'm aware, there are some people that can have an allergic reaction to that kind of stuff, and that's why we sell it.
I see. Yeah, because I was wondering again, like, is that harmful? Because I'm hearing all the time now, like, oh, this needs to be gluten free. So it's like, is it an allergy kind of thing for some people, or is it just something unhealthy that nobody should eat?
Yeah, funny thing too. Uh,
Now finish the
there
job.
is actually some syrup, particularly the raspberry syrup, that
Mhm.
if you've ever seen foods that have red dye in them, they will actually, it's actually made with beetles.
Wait, hold
And
on.
yeah, that's what gives it the color, the red. It's because of the beetles.
Beatles. And we're not talking about the like fucking awesome band. We're just talking about straight up Beatles.
Yeah, straight up beetles. That's what gives it the color. And
Oh,
there was
I
actually kind of
am
an
so
uproar
uncomfortable.
when people found out about the food dye being made with beetles. So they
I can
actually,
imagine, yeah.
Up. When you're done,
so they actually
open the treasure vault.
took beetles off of the ingredients. And when it comes to raspberry syrup from Starbucks, that's why it's not red anymore. Because before we used to have the red velvet frappuccinos,
Mhm.
and so now some people still ask about, you know, how come it's not red anymore, and it's because, you know, the dye isn't in there anymore. We still serve it, and it still tastes like a red velvet frappuccino, but
Nicely done.
it just doesn't look like it. It's still white now.
Good work.
Mhm.
You took out the most Zeds.
Wow, that is.
Glad
You
you
learn
made it
something new
back.
every day.
Don't leave
That
any
is weird.
Okay. I didn't even know about that either, honestly. I've had a friend tell me that, and that might also explain there why I have
final choice has been made.
hives
Enemies
from
on the
whenever
score.
I eat something in particular that has red dye in it. Like Kool-Aid, I actually can't drink like fruit punch Kool-Aid.
Mm. You're not missing out. The blue one's better anyway. I know I just angered so many
Time's
people.
almost up.
Worth it.
Yeah, it was worth
Jesus.
it.
Made with beetles.
Yeah. You'd be
Break
surprised
time's
with the
over.
kind of shit that
Get
they
back to
put in your
work.
food.
More Zeds inbound.
Yeah. Like I know because I take an environmental studies class. So like my teacher has been talking about like we're on the topic of food chains. So she's been talking about how things, for example, like how things like plastic can actually end up in our bodies due to the fact that since plastic is being put in seas and like fish are eating it, like when we when we go fishing and we eat the fish, like not necessarily just full on plastic bag, but like the particles are still getting into our bodies as well.
Oh yeah.
And how like she talks about how she's a very like she talks about how like hormones can affect our food and affect getting put into our food can affect us and things like that. And it's just
Yeah,
like
that's
wow.
why there's that whole controversy with hormones being in I don't know about the brand of milk specifically that's in your
Finish the
school
last one
because
off.
mine was TG
Before I open
Lee,
the treasure vault.
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah,
I wish
there
my
was a bit of
milk
controversy
lady was
about
that
that,
cool.
like yeah, like the hormones that are supposed to
Mhm.
uh I guess what's it called? Like enhance the growth. Uh yeah, like something about oh my god, there's the word, but I can't find the word in my head.
Glad to see you made it.
But it was something having to do with the growth hormone that are in our bodies and how the hormones in the milk is supposed to affect that.
A good day's work and
Mhm.
everyone survived.
Yeah. That's.
Unless you hate living.
I'm still thinking
It's a
about like the
bummer.
name of your milk in your school, TG Lee. That is oddly cool. We just got freaking cool cow.
Cool cow.
Mhm.
When I was in high school, they actually changed it. I was
We're almost
in
out of time.
senior year when they
Make your
changed it,
choices.
and they changed it to True Moo, which was supposed to be milk without any of the hormones.
True Moo,
I'm not
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, they sell
Not
that in
kidding
like
when they called it
stores.
True Moo.
Yeah, I've seen that before. They sell it in the stores. It's hilarious. True Moo.
I'm about to shut the
Oh my
pod.
god. I think I
True.
remember particularly too the first day when it came out, and
Pod closed.
like only 5% of the people in our school actually drank the milk. like nobody trusted the True Moo brand at all. They didn't even know it existed. They were just like, what the hell is this? And they just kind of left it behind and dumped it out or whatever.
That just reminded me of an extremely tragic story from my childhood. Give me just a second.
Really?
I'll enlighten you.
Let's call that your war.
Boy.
So this basically happened in elementary school. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I want to say about 4th grade-ish. Well, from kindergarten up to 3rd grade, we had the choice of drinking white milk, like regular milk, chocolate milk, and strawberry milk. Well, around 4th grade, the school board, like the Board of Health or something, decided to get rid of like chocolate milk and strawberry milk.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, for health
Yeah.
reasons or something, and that was like the worst year of like every kid's life. Because I
I
love
probably would be too,
chocolate
because I
milk. It
drink
was
that shit like
amazing.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're lucky you were already like out of like by that time. What were you already out of high school?
I think so. What year was that?
Let's see, 4th grade. Ooh, let's go take some bath. I'm not good with that. 4th grade. Let's see, 2017, 12th grade. I don't know.
Yeah, I graduated in 2013.
What was that?
Boom.
I graduated from high school in 2013.
Nice.
Summer of
Oh
2013.
yeah, then you were still definitely still in it.
Took
You
out
were
the
still in school
lion's
then.
share of the Z back there.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I did not
Wait,
hear
so it didn't
anything
happen to
about
you
that.
guys? Was it just maybe it was? Oh well, you're in a different state, so maybe it was just
You earned the
California.
money. Now spend it.
Maybe.
But yeah, it was horrible. Like I still remember like a student bringing a chocolate milk like a chocolate syrup container, and like it was some kid in our class, so he would like pour it into our like milk cartons. It was insane. It was now I'm thinking about it, that's hilarious. Like a little form of rebellion. That is awesome.
That is awesome.
Like that kid
He
wins.
was-
He's a legend.
Back to work. More Zeds inbound.
That kid was the hero you needed but don't deserve.
Mm-hmm. Like he made my milk chocolatey when nobody else would.
That is awesome. He will go down in history. He will.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Certainly.
And I hate that I don't even remember who that kid was, because it was like fourth grade. He was in my class. I wonder if he ever thinks about that.
Probably. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if I did something that epic, I wouldn't forget it.
Also, did you notice that we're running over close to an hour?
Yep, I shall start wrapping it up shortly. We are, well, my stopwatch says about 54 minutes, 39 seconds.
Okay. And mine's on a countdown with 5 minutes left.
Awesome. So I shall be wrapping it up shortly, but we still got a tad bit of time. So anything you want to discuss, any random topic, just bring it up, and we will talk about it. Like what are you mad about these days? What do you think about? And just get angry about.
Customer
I've got
apathy.
one. Customer apathy.
Yeah, that's something I'm pretty mad about.
All right, go into detail. I want to hear all about that.
Pretty much when customers get really mad at you for not being able to provide adequate service without, you know, having an experience beforehand, what it's like to, you know, have a skill in providing that service.
Yeah.
Pretty much they just don't understand that, you know, hey, it's not an easy job. Don't get mad. Be a little patient.
Yeah, I get it. It's like, I don't know if you ever had this experience, but I'm sure, like, the majority of people have. Like, when you go into the store with your mom, and she's, like, yelling at the cashier, when they're just trying to do their job, and so you're, like, behind her just, like, mouthing to the cashier, like, I am so sorry. And you're, like, super embarrassed,
Oh,
and
no.
you're just like, Mom, please.
Well, actually, how my situation rolled out, there's two different kinds of situations. One of which I am in a place with her, and she doesn't really like yell or anything, but she does make comments such as like, they're taking forever when it's only been like, you know, several minutes.
Impatient
Like for
moms.
example, yeah, like if we go into an Olive Garden and we're just there for like 4 minutes and it's on a busy night and the comment comes around with they're taking forever to serve us, which is kind of like annoying. It's like, I mean, do you not see the 30 other people that they have to tend to?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there was the other type of situation that involved her actually coming to my store, and she was waiting for a drink, and it was sometime at like 9 in the morning or something, which is close to around peak. And yeah, I asked her, you know, hey, what's up? You know, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm waiting for my drink. And it's not so much I had a problem with her saying that. It was just more of like the attitude kind of, which is like, okay, you don't have to have an attitude.
Yeah, I get it.
Just like, I know you just ordered a tea, but still, we got like 30 people that ordered a frappuccino before you. It's gonna take a little time.
And plus, like, it's a Starbucks. Like, Starbucks are one of the busiest places to walk into.
In the morning, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, honestly,
Unless you're in like,
time of day, really.
unless you're in Manhattan or something, or like Los Angeles, where it's busy all the time and the city practically never sleeps.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, my timer says that we got about a minute and a half left.
Oh, I'm at. Yeah, you've started, I think, before me. So yeah, I'm gonna get better with that. It's the first time, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap it up right now.
Alright, cool.
You know what? I'm gonna wrap it up just because I killed this screen, because these guys are gonna be hell right now. Although my parrying has become fantastic. Not to brag or anything. Alright,
so
and...
That's great.
Any former conclusion or outro before we wrap this up?
Not necessarily any extra comments, no, just gonna go ahead and wrap it up. And that is all the time we have here today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys had fun hanging with us. We had fun hanging with you. Be sure to stop by Serpentmongrel's channel and give him some likes, some subscribes. He really is a chill guy. Chill. Oh, that's gonna mean a new word. A mixture of chill and cool. He really is a chill guy, and he's got an awesome voice to listen to. Very mesmerizing. Just gonna put that out there.
Thank you.
And link to his channel will be in the description. And also, if you have an Instagram and want to keep up with what I'm gonna keep up with updates and what I'm gonna post, things like that. Any announcements, go on the Instagram.
Cool, make it
the
your
page
friends.
is my channel's Instagram, so the link to that will also be